Fastener Professional of the Year celebration honoring Mr. Jim Derry. My name, for those of you that don't know, is Adam Derry. I had the privilege last year of serving as the NFDA president and currently serve as its past president. Man, I wish we could be together in person for this celebration. And I know Jim would too. But know that we'll have some fun today virtually and appreciate everybody's participation. The session will be recorded so we can share with others. And just as a reminder, please mute yourselves if you're not speaking. The Fastener Professional of the Year Award was created by the NFDA to honor individuals that make a substantial positive impact on people's lives, the lives of team members, of those in the fastener industry, and the community at large. And Jim Derry certainly embodies all of these. I'd like to make a few comments first about Jim, and then we'll open it up to others. So to get started, I'd like to hit the rewind button just for a second. It's now 1990, and Jim is 29 years old. He had recently started a family. He's got a pretty sweet gig selling computers up in Minneapolis. And he and his older brother, Bill, come up with this harebrained idea to buy this little fastener company in this worn down facility. Bill would call it, frankly, a shithole, and in the downtown part of Rockford, Illinois. And I'm quite certain Jim's beautiful wife, Susie, back then was thinking, what the heck are we doing? But fast forward, yada, 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 everything turned out all right. Field's been able to grow 19% per year, year over year since 1990. And they've built this pretty cool company with a pretty amazing culture. And that's really what Jim's main focus has been since taking over as president and CEO at Field 6 or 7 years ago, culture. Jim spends a ton of time with the Field team and connecting with them personally. We've got over 220 team members now, and Jim knows every one of them. I think Jim has a knack for seeing the potential in people and challenging them to up their game and helping them get ready for future roles, which is a sign of a great leader and something I will forever be grateful to Jim for. Under Jim's leadership, Field rolled out its 10-year strategic plan in 2020, centered on improving lives. You can see the heart in the middle of that plan. And improving lives to us means the lives of the Field team, their families, our customers, and the community. Jim's passionate about helping others and giving back. And there's tons of examples of this, but just to name a couple. Team members can volunteer at Field up to 40 hours, paid time off, and helping the charities of their choice. Jim's been very active with the Carpenters Place, serving on its board and as its president, which is a great organization helping homeless people get back on their feet. Jim's been an advocate for United Way and a co-founder of the Derry Foundation and the Derry Scholarship Program. But the thing I respect most about Jim is his ability to balance work stuff while being a great family man. Field's been a success, but when you look at his family and the solid relationships that he has with each of his 4 amazing kids and his beautiful wife, Susie, by his side for the last 34 years, that is success. Susie, you're going straight to heaven, by the way, for having to put up with Jim for that long, but that's a side story. I'm very proud to be a part of the Derry family and being part of the Field family, and couldn't be more proud and appreciative of the influence that Jim's had on both, as well as me personally, both in my life and at work. So cheers to you, Jim, well-deserved, and congrats on this recognition. So there are a few other people that would like to honor Jim today. So I will throw it over to last year's Fastener Professional of the Year, Mr. Don Nowak. Don, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Adam. Jim mentioned earlier today that his back is sore, and I really know the reason why. He's been carrying his brother for 31 years. That's a really, really difficult task. But all kidding aside, I don't think we would have thought a year ago that we'd be back in Zoom. Would have been great to do this in person. However, circumstances have changed again, and I guess we live with it. I've known Jim for well over 20 years, and what has struck me about him is his intensity, his competitiveness, and his willingness to do whatever it takes to accomplish his goals. And I've been able to witness that, as well as to witness the culture that Jim and his brother Bill have developed at Field. I had the opportunity to be there several times over the years, and I can tell you it is a very unique culture. I don't know if they're still doing the 5 o'clock Friday afternoon bash, but that was part of the uniqueness of it. Jim is well deserving, and Adam identified a number of the initiatives that he's involved with outside of the NFDA and outside of Field to be able to help his community and help people in the community. And that really says a lot about him. Again, I think he's a very well-deserving recipient of this award. And I just congratulate him on the success of Field, the success of himself personally with his family, as well as what he's done for his community. Again, you're well-deserved, Jim.
Thanks, Don. That party might start earlier today. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Don. Bill, you're up.
Well, Jim's been my brother for 60 years and 4 days, and my partner for 31 years, or almost 31 years. So let me comment first about the partner. He's got this great, and Don referenced it, get her done attitude. There's nothing that stops Jim from getting the things done. And he's been very supportive of me, defended me, and supported me when I was right. And on those very rare occasions when I was wrong, he had an equal willingness to tell me that. And the working with Jim as a partner was great because we have a common focus on our teams, on our customers, and just simply running this business based on just do the right thing. And he's been my brother for a long time. And some of you may not know this. I named Jim. He was the 6th child and 5th boy. And when my dad came home and said, yep, mom had a baby last night. It's another boy. We need to figure out a name. I said, well, you like William James? Why don't we just turn it around? James William. That's his name. James William Derry. And that's no kidding. That's how he got it. So as brothers, we didn't really develop much of a relationship when we were young because I was 10 years older than him. So when I was 16 and getting my license, he was 6 and still wetting his pants. So we didn't get really much of a relationship till Jim got into college and brought me down to school, and I could go to fraternity parties and do some of the fun drinking things together that brothers do. But we developed a strong bond in our business as brothers because we enjoyed success and failure together. The greatest thing that my brother has done for me is introduce me to my wife, Liza. She didn't know that was going to happen, but without Jim's introduction to Liza, I would have never met her. But now my recognition for Jim in this award really is beyond being a brother and a partner. It's what he did last year. Jim fought and won the battle with cancer. And he was an amazing example to me and all of us that work with Jim for how he fought that battle. He was dedicated to getting it done. He never looked back. He never whined. He never complained. He just worked hard, and he had a positive attitude through the whole thing. And that's an example that we don't get to see in our lives very often. And Jim was that example to all of us that's tried to support him through that journey. So the most probably noteworthy thing he did is he set a record at the hospital he was in for more laps around the floor doing lunges, pushing his IV. That's right. Jim was walking around the hospital floor with the IV doing lunges because that's what he thought he needed to do to stay in shape. So Jim, it's a great honor to be your brother and your partner, and congratulations on this well-deserved award.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you.
we'll throw it over to Mr. Jim Ritz, the 2018 Fastener Professional of the Year. Jim? Jim, are you there?
Maybe he got eaten by that alligator in the back.
It looks like his head's right in there. Maybe let's come back to, we'll do
He might be
Jim
frozen.
in a minute. So John Weiberg, are you available? Can you hear me okay?
And my bandwidth hasn't failed me yet, so I'll press on here for you. But so I'm John Weiborg. I'm president and CEO of Stellar Industrial Supply, headquartered in Tacoma, Washington. Thanks for allowing me a few minutes to share some thoughts about my friend Jim Derry. It's really an honor to participate, and congratulations, Jim. What a well-deserved honor for you. Really proud of you. I'm not from the fastener industry, so I don't know if all the rest of you are or not. I don't know if Jim knows a damn thing about fasteners or not. I suspect he might, but I don't know if it matters. I will say this to you, Jim. Of all the business CEOs I know, you're one of them. Seriously. I've known Jim for many, many years. We met through an Epicor functions, a couple of them. And Jim later spawned the idea of a group of us meeting a few times a year in a business network. And that group is known as STP 21, and it's been hugely valuable to me on a personal and a professional basis. And really, that's Jim in a nutshell. He's always thinking and creating value for those with whom he comes into contact. He's highly progressive in his thinking about his business and courageous enough to act on his visionary thinking. But there's much more to my friend Jim than that. I'm going to pay a price for these nice comments. I just know it. But Jim's a man of the highest integrity. He's forthright, honorable, and transparent. He's the kind of friend that'll tell you what he thinks you need to know, because that's how dedicated he is to his relationships. He's a highly successful family man with an amazing wife, Susie. And when I see Jim, I say, "How's Susie?" And he says, "Oh, she's madly in love." And I say, "With whom?" But they have a great relationship, and they've raised just a phenomenal family. I've met many of their family. I don't know them well, but they're just really great people. Jim has a great sense of humor and often is almost as witty as his friends are. He has a wide range of interests, not the least of which involves wine. I was at his house one time, and we rated his incredible wine cellar. And I'm not sure Jim or Susie were all that happy about it, but we sure had a good time. And he has some really good wine. So if you ever get over his house, I recommend a raid of the impressive wine cellar. Jim's always in service. You've heard a few things. He's always in service to others, and I really admire that. Back to the professional side for a minute. I've had the distinct pleasure of visiting with Jim a lot about our businesses over the years. Found him to be a very savvy and smart businessman and just a phenomenal leader. His company has a great culture you've heard some about, and I know one of the primary reasons for that is because of Jim Derry. He's a strategic thinker. I've never seen Jim let the tyranny of the status quo stop him. He's a lifelong learner, dedicated to continuous improvement in all things. His business is highly successful, as you know. Jim has been key to that success. I look up to Jim as I would a big brother, even though I'm even older than he is. And I could go on about Jim for a long time, my admiration for him and my appreciation for our friendship and our business relationship. I won't do that because I've only been given so much time, but I can't think of how NFDA could have found a better fit than Jim Derry as Fastener Professional of the Year. Jim, my dear friend, congratulations again. Thank you for being such a great friend and human being. And thank you, NFDA and Adam Derry, for inviting me to say a few words today. I really appreciate it.
Gosh, thanks, John. That is a huge surprise to see you on this. I was expecting some of my fastener friends, but the relationship we've established through STP 21 over the last 10 years or so has been really outstanding. And I cherish your friendship. So your words really resonate deeply, and I'm grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, John.
I'm
Casey?
back.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I'm
Good-
sorry.
Good to
My
see you
phone
again.
overheated. We're sitting in the car in Enigo, Wisconsin. in a parking lot, and my phone was catching the sun's heat. So, all right. As evidenced by some of the other presenters, there's a lot of things that Jim has done to contribute to the industry in a number of ways, but I decided to focus on a little different take, and that is his sense of camaraderie and diplomacy through a short story that Jim and I experienced together. So in this industry, there's a lot of rewards for spending time in the fastener distribution industry, and one of those is the bittersweet sacrifices we make having to travel quite a bit, whether it's for fastener shows and meetings or customer visits or supplier development, both domestic and international. And some of these trips require overseas work. And at times these trips can be mind-numbing and monotonous ventures. So occasionally we're allowed to experience some of these trips with friends we've developed over the years. And Jim is one of those friends that, I've developed over 30 years in the industry. And this story has Jim will smile about the background. We had about 12 or 15 fastener friends at a dinner in Stuttgart, Germany for the fastener show. I'm guessing about 10 years ago. And after dinner, as often is the case, I was looking for volunteers to experience a Stuttgart beer pub. And while everyone was tired from the show and travel, Jim and one of his coworkers agreed to join me. And I was grateful to have Jim along, because I knew from past experience, that he was a longtime student of the art of beer consumption. We found a local pub not far away from the restaurant, albeit a little overcrowded. And after getting our beers and settling back into the pub, the patron in front of us spilled nearly his entire beer on my Green Bay Packers jacket. And I know what you're saying, who in the heck wears a Green Bay Packers jacket in Europe? But that's another story. Things became a little tense between me and the local two-fisted slapper, and Jim quickly intervened and arrested the situation. A few minutes later, the two-fisted slapper, who is now known as Gunther, brought us another beer and was cajoling us with stories of why he could never again visit America. And that too is another story. But because of Jim's diplomatic skills, we managed to avoid an international incident, and our friend escorted us to one or two other pubs. The moral of the story is that Jim has not only shown leadership in the U.S. fastener industry, but in the international fastener industry as well. To this day, if I see Jim with a beer in his hand at one of our crowded events, I often raise my drink to him and say, "Here's to Gunther." Congratulations, Jim, on your very deserving recognition. And oh, by the way, here's to Gunther.
All right, thanks, Jimbo. There's one little piece of story I have to add to that. So there's 12 of us in like the hotel bar we were at having dinner, and the waiters told us we had to leave because we were having too much fun. We're like, what? And they're like, no, you're laughing too loud. You're too loud. You're disturbing the rest of the restaurant. You guys need to leave. I'm like, wow, we're getting kicked out for having fun in a bar restaurant. That's never happened before. So, but thank you. That is a great story. I think of it often. And I enjoy and cherish your friendship. So thank you.
Jim, I've gotten kicked out of places with you, as you know, and so I feel like that happens a lot to you.
Maybe it's me. Could be my fault.
Thank you, Jim. Worth the
Thanks,
wait.
Jim.
Casey.
All right, thanks, Adam. Hello, congratulations, Jim. And just for starting off, I do want to start, as I mentioned, just in our lobby area there. I've got a few comments from my dad. from my dad's side, we haven't seen a whole lot of them as going back to about August 9th, they opened the Canadian border, and he's been in his northernmost office since about that time fishing up there. So he was unable to make it today, but he did send some thoughts that he wanted me to share that really, it comes from my heart too, because it's just pretty neat. And I think it goes back to maybe even 1989 or 1990, those early years, when my grandma and my grandmother and grandfather was still around, and Dad just, he had a lot of respect for you, Jim, and Bill too, going back to those days when, in his words, you guys would seek out my grandfather, Dan, and just really work hard to try and glean any knowledge you could from him. He mentioned that, it seemed like Dan kind of acted like a father figure back in those days. So it just really struck my dad, quite heavily. So I think it must have worked out, or he says it must have worked out pretty good for you too, as evidence from all of your success here in the years since then. So definitely a heartfelt congratulations from Ed. And then from my side, I just want to also echo, I think there's really been three themes to who Jim Derry is that has rung loud and clear to me in the comments shared by the presenters so far. First off, you like to drink, and I agree with that. I remember a great year, a great visit with you. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning at the Mandalay Bay. I think it might have been my Uncle Joe, God rest his soul's suite. And Jim's like, well, I could go for a bottle of Chardonnay. So here it is, 3 o'clock in the morning. He's room servicing one of the best bottles of Chardonnay cake bread they offer. And lo and behold, we continued having a good time that night. So the other one that we keep hearing about is how fit you are, how darn in shape and focused and competitive. And a story that comes to mind, emphasizing that is going back to, I forget the year, we were in Maui for the executive summit, probably 2016 or so. And we were all out there to relax and have a good time. And I was doing a lot of that. And I remember coming into the hotel one morning and, well, there's Jim and a few guys. I know Gio on the call was there too. Well, you guys are working up a sweat on your road bikes. Holy smokes.
Mark Shannon was there.
Yeah, right. Pretty committed to being fit. But the other part about Jim that, for sure is my favorite is your sense of humor. That is always from, speeches you've given at NFDA events to just, business stuff. I remember you and Susie, in fact, we were at another executive summit. This one was down in Miami a couple of years ago, and my wife was there with me, and we had our kids along with us that trip, and we ran into you at the beachfront bar, the tiki bar later that night, and you made some really nice comments about how well our kids looked, and I think you really suggested that my wife and I should keep working on making more babies. So thanks. We were done with 3, but yeah, we still practice. So, but no, sense of humor and the last is culture, and the culture that you've built with Bill there at Field. It's incredible. It starts at the top. You clearly see that it starts at the top, and you lead by example. And that example is work hard and play hard. And you do both of them very well. And from me and my family, congratulations on a well-earned honor of being Faster Professional of the Year. I know, hopefully I've got a couple minutes left. I wanted to also invite my brother-in-law, Matt Ulrich. He did also have a couple things he wanted to share with you with his time on the board of directors together with the NFDA. So Adam, if you don't mind, I'll kick it over to Matt.
Thanks, guys, for a little time for an uninvited guest, but I didn't want to pass up this opportunity, Jim, to celebrate with you and the group. I feel like COVID's taken us all a step backwards for being with each other, so this is really an honor to be able to say a few words to you and to celebrate. But a lot of themes have passed on today, and I don't know if I'm going to hit any new ones, but as I listened to, Ed and Casey were talking, about you, and really getting back to the generations ago when NFDA was started. And as Ed's message through Casey talked about how you treated his parents, his grandparents. And it was really with just openness to listen and to share. I mean, you have an amazing ability and openness to do that. The respect and honor that you showed for those people was amazing. And again, I know this theme comes back in the libations of that time. I can't imagine the fun and the singing. We wish we were all there to hear it, but what all that talk does, it takes me back to when I was really introduced to you in the industry. And for those that don't know, I followed Jim as president of the NFDA. And at that time, I was really stepping out of my father-in-law's sort of shadow to speak in the industry. It's really easy to be a McElhon in the industry, Casey, because everybody knows who you are, but nobody knew who I was. I was a son-in-law that was lucky enough to marry into this wonderful family. But at that time, Jim really took me under his wings. And I don't know why, Jim, if you looked at a funny looking kid over at the corner before I could grow this beard and say, this kid needs some help. But you showed me the industry at that time. You introduced me to people. You taught me great things about leadership and culture, many arguments about culture. But most importantly, you were a friend. And that friendship came at such a great time for me, and not only where I was in my career, but also my personal life. You and Susie and the group, but I want to thank you personally. I'm grateful for that time. But getting back to today, the fastener industry and John is here to celebrate you for who you are. And it's simply because everything that I've talked about and everybody has talked about it is because you share those things, and you share them tremendously, that like no one else can. Your leadership, you're not just leading your organization, you're leading all of us, you're leading the industry. Your friendships here and everywhere else, you make a difference to people in your friendship. And it's the passion. You want us all to become better, all our organizations to become better, Jim. And we as an industry and as people, just thank you for that. So much from me, from everybody. Congratulations, Jim, on this wonderful day and honor.
Thanks, guys. Casey and Matt, thanks. I have a very vivid memory of meeting your grandfather. I think it was at the Mobile NFDA meeting, and I went as a guest. And literally, he put his arm around me and said, "Hang around." And I just listened to every word he said. I was like a sponge. And he's singing I remember he's singing Old Danny Boy at the bar late. And from that moment on, there was just a real deep connection with the McElhon family. I just really felt connected through your whole family. And Bill and I left. We know, like, your parents and grandparents and ours are in heaven, having some fun, talking about how much our kids are doing well in the fastener business. So there's been a real deep connection between the McElhon family and the Derrys. And I truly appreciate that and honor and just enjoy that friendship. So thank you very much.
Next up is Juan Moreno. Juan, are you on?
Hello, how's everybody doing? My name is Juan. Sorry, I'm in my car. I just stepped out of work to join the meeting. But yeah, I was one of the scholarship recipients from Field and from the Derry family. And so first of all, I do want to congratulate Jim for this recognition. I'm sure it's very well deserved for all the hard work and dedication to his professional career. I've known Jim for about 4 years. He was an amazing mentor for me during my time in college, along with his wife, Susie. So as the first generation student, Jim has invested time giving me advice and helping me with anything I needed, any resources that I might not have been aware of. He was always there for me for anything I needed during my time in college. And that is also one of the reasons why I was able to do well and succeed in college. And now graduated, I look back and I'm very thankful for everything Jim and Phil has done and for giving back to the community. He has showed me that and explained to me that running a business is not just about profits. It is also, why do we exist? What are we doing to better the world? And how are we creating value? Like the Field principles, main core value is improving lives, and Jim embodies all of these principles. I've been impacted in the best way possible by his professionalism and his desire for me to succeed. I know I would not have been able to go to college if it wasn't for the scholarship And if it wasn't for all the advice that Jim gave me throughout the time in my college career, I can never thank him enough, and I wish nothing but that's all I have.
All right, Juan, wow, thank you. That was a surprise, man. Thanks for being here. And I'll tell the group that one of the happiest days of my life was not when Juan graduated from college, because I knew he would do that, but when he got his first job. I was on fire. We went out and celebrated it. It's a day I won't forget. So really proud of the work you did, Juan, and thank you for the kind words. I really enjoyed working with you over the last 4 years.
Appreciate it, Jim. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I remember when we went out to celebrate before I got this job, it was, one of the best things, one of the best ways we bonded. So,
all right, we'll do it again. You're buying the next time.
I will, for sure. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Juan. It's not easy to do that. You did great, man. Thank you for participating in this. We appreciate it. And last but not least, Melissa Patel.
Hello, everybody. Well, whoever said save the best for last clearly didn't have to follow this incredible lineup. So it is interesting. I obviously prepared for this, and themes are very constant between each of the speakers, which is pretty great to see. So for those that don't know me, I'm Melissa Patel. I have been blessed and honored to have worked at Field for 18 or 19 years, and I had the honor and pleasure of submitting the recognition or the nomination for Jim for this award. And I wanted to share a few reasons why I thought he was worthy of this recognition. So when I started at Field, I was 18 years old, and as you can imagine, had no clue of anything in the world or how business operated. And I found myself lucky enough to work for an amazing company, Field. And it has offered me many opportunities, but best of all, I was able to witness firsthand Jim and his leadership style. For any new team member that joins the organization, even to this day, in Jim's presence, you quickly understand his passion, his excitement, his drive, his competitiveness, his focus on taking care of his team, his community, suppliers, and customers. And he definitely lives by the motto, work hard, play hard. Jim's energy is contagious and is something I admire very much about him. He is strong in his convictions. He gives great feedback, is open to others' opinions, and a side benefit is he is a great wine selector, and we go on very good wine journeys together. One thing I wanted to share with the other leaders on this call is something I think Jim does extremely well, and I think it can serve us all to make note of. It is a confidence that Jim has in others. This is something that I really appreciate about Jim. The young lady that joined the organization 18 years ago didn't have a clue, but Jim always was supportive, and through all the opportunities expected the best of me, but always told me that he had the faith in my abilities. That faith is what drove me to be more confident in my abilities. And when someone in Jim's position or anyone in leadership shares that assurance in their team, you will see them flourish and take the lead on decisions and results. I am privileged to be part of the Field story and privileged to work with you every day, Jim. Congratulations. You mean a lot to me and to the Field team and to the industry. So cheers to you.
Thanks, Missy.
So at this point, we'll open it up to anyone else that wants to make any comments or stories, or, I'll throw the floor out to anyone else that would like to say a few words.
We don't need more stories about wine. I think we've covered that.
Adam, I'll say a couple quick words. I didn't really prepare anything, but again, hearing some of these stories, I guess I just want to say thank you to everything that Jim, Dad, that you have done for me over my lifetime, for our family. And you were a role model to me as a father and as a husband, and a role model professionally as a businessman, a leader, and a great salesperson. So thank you for everything you've done for me personally and professionally. Cheers to you.
Thanks, Daniel.
So I'd like to speak to Jim. So I joined the fastener industry after a career in the electrical industry 9 years ago. And Jim was one of the first individuals who said, you know what, we'll welcome you into this industry. He welcomed me into explaining what it was about, started my journey, and just gave me a refreshed that as a leader, he would take the time in this industry with someone that was completely unknown to him and was being asked to school me and bring me up to speed. And so it was very important as part of my career into the fastener industry. And I'm thankful for that and thankful to be a part of the industry. So thank you, Jim.
Oh, you're very welcome. Enjoyed it.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Mark Shannon. Congratulations on this. Couldn't go to a better person. You know, when I think of Jim Derry, I think of a leader. And, you know, when you look at the attendees on this call right now, it's not just fastener professionals, it's a lot of people from field as well. And that's really encouraging to see because Jim is such a great leader. He just draws people to him. And from the day I met you, Jim, you've been such an influence on my life, personally and professionally. We've had a lot of great times together. Look forward to a lot more. And God bless you, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mark. And congratulations on your success in triathlon. That's awesome.
All right. Unless there's any others going once. Twice.
You know, Adam, I'll say one last thing here,
Sure.
just to kind of emulate what my brother said. Dad, Jim, you've been an incredible influence in my life, personally and professionally. I've always appreciated your competitiveness when it comes to water skiing and lifting weights and all that kind of stuff, especially with Dan, pound for pound, strongest in the family. But yeah, I just kind of a little side note there. That's one thing I've really admired about you. And it's cool to see you do that in the business world as well. And it's really cool to see it kind of in person and leading the charge here at Field. It's been a really awesome experience.
Thanks, John. Well, it's great to have you on the field team.
All right. Well, with that, I'd like to present the 2021 NFDA Fastener Professional of the Year Award to Mr. Jim Derry. Congratulations, Jim. And I got this. We got this beauty that I'll bring back. I'll bring back to your office since I gave it to you before, but I'll bring it back down to your office.
Truth be told, it's been in my office for a while. It was in the box though. I left it in the box until I thought it would be appropriate not to take it out of the box till today. So, well, wow, I'm so humbled and honored to get this award and to be spoken about in the same breath as the people that have won this before me, because I have a huge amount of regard and respect for the people that have received this award. And I think much of what was said has been embellished significantly, but what the heck, I'll take it. But so it really came as a huge surprise and is deeply appreciated. But as I think back about this, you know, the NFDA and the fastener industry has been really, really good to me and to our company and to so many relationships. And the fact that many of these relationships go back a long, long way for the people that are on this call. And I think it does say a lot about what this industry is all about. I think the reality is that once you get into it, you just don't get out of it. And I think that's really a good thing. But early on, as was mentioned, Bill mentioned we did this business in 1990, and there was connections with the NFDA right from the beginning. I went as a guest, and Bill was a member of the NFDA as a delegate through his relationship with Camcar. But man, it became clear that we were going to join the NFDA absolutely as soon as possible, because these were the people that I knew that we wanted to emulate and be around and hang around with. And I think back then you had to get to $5 million in revenue, and it took us a while to go from 800,000 to 5 million. But I'll remember the first time we were members at the Coeur d'Alene, and we went there as members. And from that point on, the NFDA was a really important part of our journey as a company. And the thing that really struck me then is how open and willing and helpful the people that we met were there. As I mentioned, the McElhon family, you know, Mark Alexander at Worth, and countless people that the Queenan family, just people that we knew in the industry that we weren't competitors with, were just so willing to help and share and give information. And we learned so much about kind of how to run this business and what it meant and what to do and what not to do with suppliers and all that kind of stuff. And I think it was really great. And I think one of the things I think back then, we had kind of like the common enemy. We had the Fastenals and some of the big guys, and it was this small family-owned, generally, group of companies that were saying, hey, how can we help each other to beat the big guys? And that really brought this common connection and this mutual, hey, let's get this done and help together. And I think since then, that really kind of set the tone for me and Bill, and I think our company, to say, we want to help. We got so much help early on that when other people were looking for help or wanted help, we were more than willing to say, hey, come on in, let's talk. Here's what we're doing, and continue to learn from each other. So the NFDA in the industry has been absolutely incredibly important to our business, and some of the friendships I cherish most are people that I've known in our industry. So I'm very grateful for that. And as I think about our journey, it has been crazy. I mean, I laughed at 29 years old. I didn't know the nut from a bolt. I didn't know anything about fasteners. So I give Bill a ton of credit for coming up with this idea. He knew Dick Field from Camp Car and decided we ought to try to buy this business. And it was, as Mark Alexander said, the shittiest piece of real estate in the fastener industry. I mean, it was a dump. I mean, you can't dress it up, but you know, it's the thing that really I think has been important for us, and I maybe would just use this as a tiny bit of encouragement, is very early on, we decided we were going to do two things. We were going to provide vendor managed inventory systems and technical support. So early on, I bought a barcode scanner so that we could do VMI systems. And Bill went out and bought a vise and a torque wrench so he could measure the torque in a joint. And from that point forward, that's what we've done. We've focused on vendor managed inventory systems and providing technical support. So it is absolutely staying true to our roots. But somewhere along the line in this 30-year journey, we kind of got a sense that there was something about culture. Because for 15 years, we never uttered the word culture. But then somewhere along the line, we realized that culture was unique, it was special, and it was important. And I think what hit me is that, you know, in this business, you have to take care of customers, you have to take care of suppliers, and you got to take care of people, right? That's it. I mean, we buy stuff, wrap some services around it, and try to sell it for more than we paid for it. But it became clear that if we put a lot of emphasis on our people, well, the people would take care of our customers, and then our people would also treat our suppliers like our customers. So the focus really ended up being putting a huge emphasis on our people and really getting intentional about building a culture that is important. And today, that is absolutely the most important thing. It's a competitive advantage, and it's really the root of everything we do. But the end of it all, the last 30 years have been absolutely living the American dream. I mean, the success we've had, we could never have imagined. And that's really come with hard work, because clearly, I don't think anyone would accuse the Derrys of being the smartest guys in the group, but we're not afraid to turn the crank and do the work. But if you stay true to your kind of what you mean or what you stand for and take care of your people, the rest really has kind of taken care of itself. So I'm super proud of what we've accomplished, but I also know that our best days are yet to come. And we've got a really bright future. I think I can now announce it that our very own Melissa Patel was recognized as the Young Professional of the Year. So we're super proud of her, but she said it well. I mean, she started as a part-time person answering the phones 18 years ago and has developed into an extremely bright young lady with a ton of potential and is a leader of our company. So I'm really excited about what the future holds. And I will make a comment that, you know, as Bill touched on, last year was a tough year. It went through some health challenges, and virtually everybody that's on this call now had kind words, had encouraging emails or texts, or just had some level of support to get through that. So my point is never underestimate the power of a kind word, a note, something to somebody that's going through a tough time, because, you know, there's good days and bad days, and I try to stay positive, but there's times where that just was hard to do. And it just seemed like when I was having a tough day, I'd get some kind of note or encouragement or something from somebody in this group or someone else to kind of help you get through a tough time. So just be mindful of that when someone's going through a tough time, you may underestimate the impact you could have by giving them some kind words. So I really do appreciate this recognition. It means a ton to me, and it's so fun to hear these words from so many people in different aspects of my life. It really means a ton. So thank you very much. I value all of your friendships. I respect all of you as professionals and leaders in your own right. And I guess right now I'm having a really great day. So thank you very much for this recognition and what you've done. And I greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Well, congrats again, Jim. Well deserved, as we talked about, and thanks to everyone for participating today. I know there's a lot going on, and we'd rather be in person, but this virtual thing worked out great, and I thought it was a great session. So thank you again for everybody for participating, and I hope everybody has a great weekend.
All right, thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Congrats, Jim.
Thank
Love
you.
you, Jim. Take care, buddy.
Congrats, Jim.
Congrats, Jim.
Congrats, Jimmy D.
Hawkeyes. Yeah, baby.